Welcome back to Bold TV. I'm your host, Philip Michael. Now, let's talk about email marketing. Is email marketing more important than, say, social media? Well, let's find out. How do we find out? Well, we have an email marketing expert here. Adrian Savage. How you doing, Adrian?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Man, lovely, and I love that accent. It's just adds a posh air of elegance to the conversation. I love it. But let's get right to it. Now, what benefits does email marketing have that social media doesn't?
Got it. So, the thing that email gives you more than social media is, let's be a little bit brave for a second. Let's look at former President Trump. He depended on social media entirely, and what happened? Someone else decided that he could suddenly no longer speak to his audience anymore. So the beauty with email is you've got a lot more control over who you speak to, when you speak to them, how often you speak to them, and you've got a lot better information as to whether or not they are actually listening to you, whether they're engaging with you. So the thing that I love about email, even though so many people are saying these days that it's dying and it's going and things like that, is that if you know what you're doing and if you don't do crazy things, you can still build up a really big audience and you can engage with them really well. And if you're getting things right, then you can get as many as 40% or more of your audience to open an email that you send out. Takes a bit of work, but that's no different to anything else like social media. And you've just got that ability to reach as many people on your terms. You don't have to worry about upsetting Facebook or upsetting Twitter or whatever.
And getting deplatformed. The 40% open rate. How do you achieve that?
So very, very simple. Things have really changed in the last few years. And if you go back to, say, 2015, 2016, it was easy. All you had to do was build a massive email list, and then you just mail the hell out of it and keep mailing them until they buy, they die, or they unsubscribe. But things have changed. We've reached the point now where Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, they control as much as 3/4 of your email list. And they don't like people who send emails out to people that don't want to receive them. So if your email list is mainly made up of people that haven't opened anything for weeks or months or longer, then you're probably hurting yourself right now without even realizing it.
Hurting you how? Hurting how?
Okay, so what really matters now is that you should only be sending emails to the people that have opened something recently. And here's why. The big mailbox providers, they're giving you an email service for free. Gmail is free, Hotmail is free, whatever. But it's not really free because every time you open an email, they get to display an advert to you, and some people click on the advert. So if you're sending emails out that aren't getting opened, then that means that you're sending emails that aren't letting Google display an advert, and they're going to decide they don't like you as much because you're not helping them make money. So the more emails you send out that get opened, the better your reputation becomes with people like Google, and that's why your emails at that point are more likely to go into the inbox. If your emails aren't being opened on the whole, they're more likely to go into the spam folder. So it really is all about what the behavior is of your audience, and you have to watch that. You have to make sure you're only sending emails to the people that have been opening something recently from you.
And how do you, or can you even revive those that haven't opened in a while? Because let's say you have an email list of 100,000, respectable number. Let's say only 40, let's use the 40% as a benchmark, only 40,000 open. You have 60,000 emails, which is a massive list onto itself. Is that just dead? Is it just gone forever? How do you revive that? Can you revive it without hurting yourself?
Yeah, it's one of the toughest conversations I have with clients because, in many cases, you might have spent years of your life and spent thousands of dollars building up this email list. But here's the thing, once it gets to about 90 days, maybe 6 months at the outside, if people aren't opening your emails after that kind of period, the chances are they're not seeing them at all. So you can try and revive them, you can send something to them, but the chances are they have gone already. So what really matters here is it's spotting people as they kind of fall off the radar much sooner. If someone hasn't opened something on my mailing list after 30 days, I'm going to send them an email saying, hey, are you still there? If it gets to 60 days, I'm going to send them another couple of emails. And the last one is, does this mean goodbye? And I tell them I'm going to unsubscribe them if they don't actually respond, click the link, reply or whatever, because I know that if I keep mailing them after that time, I'm going to be hurting myself. So sometimes you can get maybe 1 or 2% of these people that have gone beyond 90 days to come back. But by that point, it's often too late. Really important to be mailing those people regularly, as often as you can, and then catch them as soon as they start to fall asleep on you.
That's so interesting. That's such great insight. I'm literally my wheels are turning here now. So that's for email. Do you still believe in email as a medium, as an outlet for marketing and conversions? The reason that I ask is we've seen with digital media, there's one company in particular, but from around 2014, 2015, there was a battle for page views. Let's just use the media industry as a case study. There was a battle for page views. Then came a few digital media startups, one in particular called The Hustle, that shifted that focus away from page views, disregarded it totally, went into emails and getting emails, which had value. Now they've pivoted into subscriptions, where it doesn't seem as though it's the same type of focus on emails. And the subscription obviously is a better model to monetize. I say all this to say is email still a viable medium? Do you have to go through something like communities where you still own the data and can communicate with them effectively in a different way? Is it social media, but there is the risk of being deplatformed or suppressed by the algorithm? What are your thoughts there?
So in honesty, none of these are bad ways of monetizing, building an audience, and actually getting something out to them. If you're using email, then I've got some clients where they actually have a paid for subscription, but they're delivering all of the content via email as well, because they're actually incentivizing their audience to continue opening things, and obviously that helps their reputation. I've got other people that will use subscriptions and set up Facebook groups or private websites or whatever, and they'll still use email to communicate occasionally, because that's how they make sure people stay engaged. So I wouldn't ever say that any particular platform or medium isn't going to work. It's just, I guess it's more, you've got to be pragmatic and understand that if you want to still use email as well, make sure that you're still keeping in touch with your audience, certainly with your paying customers, and obviously with your prospects to make sure you're keeping them on board as well. But email isn't the only game in town, but it's certainly still a really good one.
Wonderful. This was so great. Where can people follow you?
Okay, so I'm on Facebook as just facebook.com/Adrian Savage, and also on LinkedIn with the same URL. And also, I'd like to invite people to check out the checklist that I've got that actually explains how all this works in a bit more detail at deliverabilitydashboard.com/checklist.
Deliverability. Can you repeat that again? Because I didn't quite catch it. Deliverability checklist.dashboard.
So deliverabilitydashboard.com/checklist.
Okay, all right. We got to make sure we get that to people. All right,
Yeah,
thank you so much for
absolutely.
joining us here today, Adrian. This was great.
Pleasure.
And thank you all for watching. Of course, make sure you follow Bo TV on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Have a wonderful day, and I'm out of here.